Hey you guys, I am back with another video, and today I'm gonna be talking about this. What is on my face? But anyways, I'm gonna be talking about this past Married at First Sight season or this past Married at First Sight episode that we just saw with the with basically MM and Aikichi, and then you had Madison and David with the whole cheating scandal, and you had basically the therapist from Married at First Sight kind of like saying like this has to be more than just a hug, and basically accusing Madison and David of, I think, having infidelity as well in this process. And honestly, it is just a lot to kind of just like piggyback off of this episode. I'm gonna first be starting off with Madison and David with this whole cheating situation, because I am just kind of shocked by the way how Madison acted when Michelle was trying to confront her. Madison just had a big attitude. You know, when they were in the bathroom and Michelle was kind of just like confronting Madison was having a huge attitude. Madison and David were still checking up on each other. Then you have Madison come into the apartment and she sees that like Alan like had like burnt the wedding photos. Alan had burnt a lot of like important stuff that like her and him had together, and I believe like just, you know, Alan was upset. And so I think Madison gets on the phone with her friend and she's just like, oh yeah, he burnt all these stuff, he did this, he did that. And then her friend on the phone is like, oh my god, like that's overboard, like that's over the line. No, like you did what you did, like own up to it. And so I think Madison and David really frustrate me because they had no care for what they did. And now you even have Carla being like, yo, look, Madison, I can't even trust you, like it's grimy. And then you have Juan telling David like you're off on a bad note. And for me to kind of sum up all this, I'ma just say like it's really embarrassing. Like Madison, David, Aikichi, all three of these people were the most embarrassing people this season. I think Aikichi, like I just kind of feel bad for him because I'm like, had he just behaved better, he probably would have been able to have a successful marriage on this season. But turns out no. And I also heard that like MM is either remarried or she's like engaged. I don't know, but congrats to her. Honestly, like congrats to her, like whatever, wherever that takes her. Honestly, like just congrats to her. A huge props and congrats to her. But I'm gonna be talking about the whole Madison and David cheating scandal first, and I'm gonna just start off with just my thoughts, my unpopular opinions. Honestly, to sum this all up, Madison and David needs to be held accountable very well. You also had the therapist saying like, you know, or I think it was Pia saying like, you know, infidelity is like just like not acceptable on a show like this, which isn't. And so I feel like that Madison and David continue to still be passive aggressive towards the situation. David literally has no sympathy. David is just like, oh, I mean, well, I had feelings for her, so what? When Madison and David were getting we're talking with the therapist on the show. I don't know I forget all their names, but they were talking to the therapist on the show, and you had David being like, you know, I want this to be long lasting. I want something big out of this. I want something real out of this. Like, you know, I'm catching feelings for her. And I'm just like, wow, like y'all couldn't at least just break up first, or like divorce first, and you had even I forget the black guy's name who like runs the show as well, who like does some of the sessions with these couples as well. I forget his name, but he was just like, you know, you divorce first before experiencing something with someone else. And I feel like that Madison and David, they just can't, like, they don't know how to take accountability, because they're just like, they see where they messed up, and they don't know how to fix it. You even have Madison being like, you know what, I am a bad person. And it's like, you know what, yes, you are a bad person, which Tammy Talk said in her review. Like, you are a bad person, which I honestly have to agree with you. I'm just like, for you to go cheat, and like, it's like, you're not on Love Island. You're not even on Love is Blind. Like, if you were on a show like Love Island or, and why do people try to sympathize cheating on these dating shows? Sarah Ann did the same thing. When she was on a podcast, she was saying like, oh my God, yeah, you know, I remember a lot of people were telling me how, like, you know, they kind of saw something else with someone else and they like broke up with their, like, it's like people literally sympathize cheating on shows like Love is Blind and Married at First Sight. Like, those are the two most shows where people just sympathize cheating, they sympathize infidelity, like just to in a whole nother level. Michelle is really upset and frustrated, and I just feel bad for Michelle. I feel like that Michelle needs a lot more grace, and I feel like that people are like, Michelle didn't even like him anyways. No, Michelle was just, and I'm gonna say this over and over again, Michelle was just starting to get feelings for David at one point, and then David went and cheated. Like, that's just how all of this just unraveled. And then even for Alan to even experience this and like go through this, like Alan was just such a good guy. Honestly, I have the most sympathy for Alan, because Alan was trying his hardest. And you even had, when Alan was talking with Juan, he was talking with Juan, Camille, and I believe he was also talking with, I forget, but he was mostly talking with Juan and Camille, I remember. And he was saying, like, when if she wasn't really like feeling things for me, she could have just ended it. She could have just been like, I'm not really feeling it. Like, Alan even said, like, Madison could have just ended it from the jump when she didn't have feelings. And I feel that people, when they're in relationships, they don't know how to be honest and be like, I'm not feeling you. Like, I'm not feeling you. And I think Madison, she did not have the guts to tell Alan, like, hey, look, I'm just not feeling you. And instead, and I think the reason why Madison was cheated too is because she did not know how to be honest with Alan. So to make the marriage easier for her, she went by seeking things out with David when it came to working out together. Like, and also my other thing is like, why did these, I kind of blamed the host of the show. I also blamed like the therapist on this show. I just blame the people who are also hosting this show and the producers. I'm just like, why would y'all people who were hosting this show allow two other people to go work out together? When y'all said a couple swap, I thought like y'all were gonna switch to couples. Literally, I did not. When you guys said couple swap, I did not know that y'all meant cheating. And my thing is just like, why did y'all dummies allow Madison and David to even work out together? Like, for me, like, y'all should just not allow that. Y'all shouldn't even allow y'all shouldn't even allow a guy and a woman from two different couples like hang out together or clash together. Like, for me, that's just, it's a setup for them to cheat. It's a setup for someone's wife and someone's husband to cheat. Like, I kind of blame the producers as well. I'm just like, why did y'all let Madison and David work out together? And I could tell from the jump, when Madison and David were working out together, I was like, oh no, like something's gonna just go down. I think David likes Madison, and so David was like, when we were working out, like, I was catching feelings. Why did y'all let David and Madison work out together? If y'all didn't allow David and Madison to work out together, this would have never happened. And I know y'all probably gonna go say like, what? I mean, well, it just happened. No, like, that is just unacceptable. Like, you're in a marriage. Why allow a wife and a husband from two different couples work out together? Sometimes that is very risky. Like, that is just extremely risky. It's extremely risky. Why allow doing that? Like, to me, it's risky. And that's why I think also, like, the marriage, the therapists, and the producers and the hosts of this show ran this show very badly, but it made good TV. I'ma just say that. Like, I feel like that a lot of the hosts and the therapists on this show, they ruin people's marriages. Like, they ruin people's marriages big time, like, just big time. Like, they just were allowing this cheating. The same thing with Love is Blind. They ruin people's relationships big time by casting the most insane men. Like, they just cast the most insane men. I don't know if it's kinetic content and Chris Colleen with her raggedy ass, like Jesse Wu says, but I think it's the way how y'all are just casting these people. And I think people thought that David was a good guy, but if y'all saw that David was still living in his parents' basement while applying to go on the show, wouldn't y'all have thought that was a red flag to put him on the show? So I think they're purposely putting people like David on this show because they want the drama. They want to see, what dramatic thing will he do? And look, David cheated with Madison. And I'm just like, why did y'all producers and hosts allow for David and Madison to go work out together? Why not encourage Michelle and David to work out together so that they could become closer in a relationship? Why not also encourage Alan and Madison to work out more? And I know Alan and Madison were working out more. And I think the reason why Alan was getting into like some type of like conflicts with Madison sometimes is because she was more interested in David than Alan behind Alan's back. I feel so bad for Alan. I'm honestly super sorry for him. I'm gonna be moving on now to MM and Aikichi and just my thoughts on them. Honestly, with these two, I think Aikichi, he needs a lot of work. I don't know how MM was aggressive, but I think Aikichi, like, he is just a really bad communicator. Like, this guy does not know how to communicate at all. He does not know how to communicate his emotions. And for me, I'm just like, that's just very effed up. That's very messed up. I'm just like, how could one just, and the way I'm on the divorce when MM was very happy to have the divorce. Like, I was happy for her too. You know, when she was reading I think her letter, I believe, she told Aikichi, like, you know what, I wish you nothing but the worst. And I was like, that is just so spot on. Like, you go do that. Like, and I was happy. Like, MM ate Aikichi up. MM was eating Aikichi up, and I think Aikichi eventually like walks away because he's very upset. He's very frustrated, so he ends up walking away. And then you also had, I think it was Dr. Tia, or that black therapist. She was saying like, oh, MM, like, wasn't that a bit harsh? Or she said like, oh, MM, like, wasn't that a bit like mean? And then MM was just like, MM said like, oh, like, that just had to be said. Like, it just had to be said. And I'm just like, so was Tia really like helping MM like for the best of her? Like, I think that like Tia just did not like MM. She was not understanding of MM, and I think Tia really needs to just be fired. Like, whatever her name is, that therapist, she needs to be fired. I'm just like, you were really just not helping MM out. Like, just the way how passive aggressive she was after MM was like, oh, I wish you nothing but the worst. And then Tia's just like, isn't that a little bit harsh? I think she said like something along the lines of that. And I'm just like, why would you ask her that? Like, he deserved that to be said to him. I think Aikichi deserved those things to be said to him. Yes, MM is allowed to wish Aikichi nothing but the worst because of his actions, because of wasting her time. Like, her marriage was wasted, guys. Like, if y'all don't understand, like, her marriage was wasted. And I think the therapists were doing the best they can to keep this couple together. Like, I don't think nobody knew what they were doing when it came to working with MM, especially when it came to her and her like marriage. Like, for me, I really do also wish Aikichi nothing but the worst because of the things he said to her, just the way how he gaslit her, the way how he had no care for her. When he would walk to sit down, like, he literally was not a good husband at all. I think Aikichi was just on the show just to be famous. He wanted his Bitcoins, and I don't think Aikichi really was on the show to actually find love. Because if you think about it, like, he just was not playing into this right. And MM's cousins were clocking this from the jump. And I feel like that MM's cousin, whatever that guy was who was clocking Aikichi left and right, should have been on the run to tell MM, like, just break up with him now. I don't even think that MM's cousin was also supportive enough as well for this relationship. Like, this relationship was so toxic and nobody seemed to know how to fix it. I feel like that the only supportive person when it came to this relationship was Camille. When MM was at the gathering and the retreat, and Aikichi gave him the one divorce paper, and then, you know, I think Camilla was like saying and do and don't. Like, I think that's like the most supportive person. Also, on another note, when Michelle was expressing how like obsessed she was about the whole cheating scandal, about David like cheating, it was kind of weird how like MM like decided like she was gonna leave early. I don't know, that was weird. But anyways, yeah, with this whole divorce with MM and Aikichi, it was for the better. And I think that like I don't know why y'all really casted Aikichi on this show when y'all literally saw like this guy applied like literally 3 times. Like, don't y'all see something was up with him? I think Aikichi, he's really intimidated by MM, and I was gonna give Aikichi some grace because like he probably does maybe have some mental health issues that cause him to do these things, but no, it does not give him the license to really just act that way towards her. I think nobody really cared for MM as well on this show as well. Like, no, like this season, none of the therapists cared for MM as well. They like literally the language that I was getting when it came to these therapists working with MM was just like, okay, so figure it out. Like, figure out this marriage yourself. Like, figure out this marriage yourself. I don't think the therapists were really helping when it came to anyone's relationships, even with Michelle and David. Like, when Tia was talking, I don't even know that if that's her name. Tell me if I'm wrong, but when that black girl was talking to David and Michelle was complaining about David so much, and like how she was stressed. The black therapist is like, oh my God, well, sometimes it's not all about the finances, the money, the home. I'm like, sometimes, yes, it is. Like, I think Michelle had standards, and also nobody cared for that as well. So I think Michelle and MM were really played on this show. And I love how, like, Michelle and MM kind of had a friendship when it came to, like, their relationships, when it came to what they were going through. I loved how MM was just there for Michelle, and I loved how Michelle was just there for MM. And I feel really bad for these two. I think Michelle and MM should sue. Like, they should just both sue. But Aikichi, he's a narcissist. This guy, he's a narcissist. Like, I just can't put any grace for him. I was gonna give him grace, but I can't give him any grace. Like, nobody, I feel like that nobody even cared. Like, after what MM said, and she was like, I wish you nothing but the worst. No one cared. Everyone just like, oh, okay. Just the audacity for this therapist to even ask MM, like, so that was a bit harsh. Like, that was just like for her to even say, that was a bit not nice. Like, I'm just like, why would you say that? Like, she deserved to say that. And like, I feel like that this black, like, Tia, whenever she would talk to MM, like, she would just kind of be sassy with her a little bit. Like, she would be very sassy with her to a huge extent. Like, just to a huge extent. Like, I don't know, I just found it just very weird and just two-faced about that therapist. I didn't like her, but I feel very, very bad for MM. Like, I really hope a blessing really just comes to her. Like, I hope a blessing comes to her. But with Michelle Michelle is award-winning. I'm sorry. Like, she's award-winning. I mean, the way how the type of just energy she's getting from Madison. I'm like, Madison, you literally cheated with David. You literally took away Michelle's marriage, and you're over here gaslighting. You're over here gaslighting her. Like, Madison, could y'all see, like, Madison is gaslighting Michelle. Like, could y'all see that? Like, how just gaslighting this woman is. And then and then the audacity for y'all to even give Michelle like grace. I mean, sorry, no, for y'all to like literally give Madison and David grace. Y'all are like, oh my God, like, Michelle didn't even like him anyways. So I mean, okay, what's the point if he cheated? Like, it doesn't matter if he cheated. No, like, if someone doesn't like you, don't cheat. Just leave. Like, literally just break up. If you don't feel, I feel like that David should have gave Michelle 3 strikes and he should have been out by day 4. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, I think David from all along I think David deserved to be treated badly by Michelle. I feel like that Michelle deserved to be mean to David all season long. I think now I'm actually going to give Michelle mad grace for disrespecting David. You know what? David deserves it because he cheated. And that just shows that, like, Michelle knew something was up with David from day 1. Like, Michelle knew, oh, something is up with this man. When that guy got up for tacos, I think at 1 a.m. in the morning, she knew something was up. She knew something was up. She knew, like, there was just some BS behind him. As soon as he said, oh, I live in my parents' basement, but I also own a business, she knew this was not the guy for her. And I feel bad for Michelle, but Michelle was trying to make it work all along. But I think that also Michelle, like Michelle, baby, you probably should have stood on business also and been like, you know what, I don't like this guy, he's too mature, I'ma just leave. And like it shows David is immature because he's still cheating at the age of 35. And then for Madison, like Alan, I just think that Alan was just trying to make it work with Madison, and Madison was just not honest. I think Alan like deserves the most grace out of this whole scandal. Alan deserves the most grace because like Alan really thought that, like, you know, Madison was trying to work it out with him. And when he just got the news that like Madison was cheating with literally his friend David, like, yeah, I would also curse David off too. I'm just like, you were my friend, and you took away my marriage. Like as a friend, come on now. The same with Madison, Michelle. Like Madison, you took away Michelle's marriage as a friend. Like if me and my friend were on Married at First Sight, I would never cheat. Like that is just a bound. Like that is just, it's like those high school and college relationships where like you got a boyfriend and then your best friend just and then your best friend is like dating him now too. It's kind of like that situation. And it's like this scene, this whole scandal is giving high school. It's legit giving high school. Like I'm super sorry. It's like, and I'm like, thank God, like, but it's like, nah, like. And I'm just like, I really just hope, I also wish Madison and David nothing but the worst. I'm just like, Madison, do you not see that like David still lives in his parents' basement? Like, do you not see that? Do you not see that like David still lives with his parents in his basement? Like, do you not see like this third, like, and I get it. You probably saw David other than living with his parents, but I'm just like, Madison, do you not see how broke this guy is? I'm just like, so Madison, you really want to be a sugar mama for this guy? I'm just like, Madison, you're gonna have to be paying for a lot of stuff then, because David, like, you don't seem like he could really cook you up with anything. Like, I think Alan, he had a lot of money, Madison, so you kind of just shot yourself in the foot, because now it's you're like, you literally could have had a man to provide you financially. So I don't even know if Madison really cares, but I think in the previews we see Madison and Michelle like kind of get into an argument as well. I don't know, but also Carla also stood on business too. Carla stood on business big time. When I mean, like, Carla sitting on business for Michelle really just makes me forget about her marriage too. I'm like, if anything, I'm happy that Carla was like, if Carla does not stay in her marriage with Juan, if anything, I'm gonna still be happy that like Carla was being a girl's girl with Michelle. And I'm like, okay, I was so happy when Carla was just like, you know what, you cannot be trusted. Like, if I see you being friends with Madison, it's done for. It's done for. Like, Carla, don't you dare ever make up with Madison. And I know, Carla, you might be a nice girl and make up with her years later. No, like, cause Carla, Madison could have taken your man as well. Like, I'm so happy for Carla, not even acknowledging David when he came in the kitchen. When David came in the kitchen, Carla was like, you know, I don't even want to see you. Like, you know, she was just eating and just minding her business. Good for you, Carla. I'm so happy for Carla. That's why Carla became my favorite, kind of. Like, kid you not, Carla is a good ass friend. She's a good ass friend. Just the way how she just stood on business. But nah, I wish Madison and David nothing but the worst. I'm sorry, cause you did this on a marriage show, and I could see if you did a Jeremy and Sarah Ann and you were on Love Is Blind, then okay, I'll give you maybe some grace. But nah, you did this on Married at First Sight. You're married and you're cheating. Why? Like, even my own married parents will never do such a thing. Like, I'm really shocked. And like, honestly, when I saw this scene, I was like, who could ever do this on a marriage show? Like, who could just ever, like, this scandal is insane. Like, just why? Like, okay, you're working out with David. Okay, if you're working out with David, can you maybe then at least say like, hey, look, I have feelings for David, and leave y'all marriages. And Dave, you could have been like, you know what? I'm having feelings for Madison. I don't like the way how you're treating me. I'ma just dip. I want a divorce. and I want to see things out with Madison. But it's just like, y'all couldn't even wait till the end of the show. Like, y'all had to cheat. And I'm like, did y'all really do this for the views? Like, I really do wish David and Madison nothing but the worst. And I wish Aikiji nothing but the worst as well. But nah, this was a big storyline. Like, Michelle, Mem, and Alan should sue. Like, all three of them got played. All three of them got played in their marriage. And I'm like, just the way how Alan has to go and like just think about like how hurt he was is insane to me. It's really insane to me. It's like it's sad for me. It's very sad. So anyways, I'm done with this video. This episode was very, very dramatic. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Also hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.